Hello family, welcome to Storytime Mutually. Kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, like, and share this video to your friends and loved ones. Thank you as you do so. Sit back, relax as we dive into the story. In the heart of New York City, where the streets are always buzzing with life, lived a lively young woman named Lily. She worked as a waitress at a small, cozy diner called Joe's Place, where the coffee was strong and the laughter was even stronger. Lily was known for her infectious smile and her ability to brighten even the gloomiest of days. One rainy evening, after a particularly hectic shift, Lily stepped out of the diner, only to realize she had left her umbrella at home. The rain was pouring down, and she was already soaked to the bone. Desperate to get home, she quickly pulled out her phone and ordered an Uber. As she scanned the street, she spotted a sleek, black sedan pulling up to the curb. Without a second thought, she dashed towards it and slid into the back seat, sighing in relief. "Thank goodness," she muttered, shaking the rain off her coat. "I thought I was going to drown out there." The driver, a stern-looking man in a suit, glanced at her through the rear-view mirror but said nothing. Lily, assuming he was just another quiet Uber driver, gave him her address and settled in for the ride. As they drove through the city, Lily couldn't help but chat away, her cheerful demeanor filling the car. "You won't believe the day I've had," she said, laughing. "I spilled coffee on 3 customers, dropped a tray of dishes, and somehow managed to get ketchup in my hair. But hey, at least I got a good tip from the guy who thought I was part of the dinner entertainment." The driver, who was actually Alexander Sterling, the millionaire CEO of Sterling Enterprises, found himself chuckling at her stories. He had been on his way home from a late-night meeting when Lily had mistakenly gotten into his car. Amused by the situation and intrigued by her cheerful demeanor, he decided to play along. "So, what's your name?" Lily asked, turning to face him. "I'm Lily, by the way. Nice to meet you, even if you're just my Uber driver for the night." Alexander hesitated for a moment, then smiled. "I'm Alexander," he replied. "Nice to meet you, Lily." Lily grinned. "Alexander, huh? That's a fancy name. Do you drive Ubers full-time, or is this just a side hustle for you?" Alexander chuckled. "Something like that," he said, keeping his true identity a secret for the time being. As they continued their journey, Lily regaled Alexander with more stories from the diner. She told him about the time she accidentally served a customer a bowl of soup with a fly in it, and how she had to chase after a runaway sandwich that had been caught in a gust of wind. Alexander laughed so hard that he had to pull over to catch his breath. "You know, Lily," he said, wiping tears from his eyes, "you have a real talent for making people laugh. You should consider a career in comedy." Lily blushed at the compliment. "Thanks, Alexander," she said. "But I think I'll stick to waitressing for now. At least I get free food and the occasional funny story to tell." As they approached Lily's apartment, Alexander knew he had to reveal the truth. He pulled over to the side of the road and turned to face her. "Lily," he began, "there's something you should know." Lily looked at him, her eyes wide with curiosity. "What is it?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Alexander took a deep breath. "This isn't an Uber," he confessed. "I'm Alexander Sterling, the CEO of Sterling Enterprises. You got into my car by mistake." Lily's jaw dropped. She stared at him in disbelief, her mind racing. "You mean, I've been talking to a millionaire this whole time?" she stammered. Alexander nodded, a small smile playing on his lips. "I'm sorry for not telling you sooner," he said. "But I enjoyed our conversation so much that I didn't want to ruin it." Lily burst into laughter. "Well, this is certainly a story for the ages," she said, shaking her head in amusement. "I can't believe I mistook you for an Uber driver." Alexander chuckled, relieved that she wasn't angry. "Would you like to continue our conversation over dinner sometime?" he asked, surprising even himself. Lily hesitated for a moment, then grinned. "I'd love to," she said, "but only if you promise not to pick me up in your Uber again." And so, an unlikely friendship blossomed between the poor girl and the millionaire CEO. Their chance encounter in the rain led to a connection that neither of them could have predicted, filled with laughter, warmth, and the promise of something truly special. After the surprising revelation, Lily stepped out of Alexander's car, her mind still buzzing with disbelief and excitement. She couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity of it all. She had spent the evening chatting with one of the most powerful CEOs in the city, thinking he was her Uber driver. The next day, Lily found herself daydreaming about Alexander as she went about her shift at the diner. She couldn't shake off the memory of his laughter and the warmth in his eyes when he looked at her. She wondered if he was thinking about her too. Meanwhile, Alexander sat in his sprawling office at Sterling Enterprises, trying to focus on work. But his mind kept drifting back to Lily, her infectious laughter, her wit, and the way she made him feel so at ease. He found himself smiling at the thought of their impromptu car ride and the stories she had shared. Determined to see her again, Alexander decided to take matters into his own hands. He picked up his phone and dialed the number Lily had given him the night before. "Hello." Lily answered, her voice cheerful despite the clattering of dishes in the background. "Lily, it's Alexander," he said, his heart racing. "I was wondering if you'd like to have dinner with me tonight. There's a great Italian place downtown that I think you'll love." Lily hesitated for a moment, then grinned. "I'd love to," she said. "But only if you promise not to wear your CEO suit. I want to see the real Alexander, not the millionaire." Alexander laughed. "Deal," he said. "I'll pick you up at 7. And don't worry, no Uber this time." That evening, Alexander arrived at Lily's apartment in a casual outfit, looking more relaxed than she had ever seen him. Lily, dressed in a simple but elegant dress, greeted him with a warm smile. As they walked to the restaurant, they chatted easily, their conversation flowing naturally. They laughed about the mix-up with the car and shared more stories about their lives. Lily told Alexander about her dreams of opening her own bakery one day, and Alexander shared his passion for supporting local businesses and charities. When they arrived at the Italian restaurant, the maitre d' greeted Alexander by name and led them to a cozy table in the corner. The atmosphere was warm and inviting, with soft lighting and the tantalizing aroma of garlic and tomatoes filling the air. As they perused the menu, Lily couldn't help but tease Alexander. "So, Mr. Millionaire CEO, do you always get special treatment like this?" she asked, raising an eyebrow. Alexander chuckled. "Only when I'm with someone as charming as you," he replied, his eyes twinkling with amusement. Throughout the meal, they shared laughter and stories, their bond growing stronger with each passing moment. Lily regaled Alexander with tales of her misadventures in the kitchen, including the time she accidentally set fire to a batch of cupcakes. "I swear, I thought I was going to have to call the fire department," she said, laughing. "But luckily, I managed to put it out with a nearby bucket of water and only slightly ruin the cupcakes in the process." Alexander laughed so hard that he nearly choked on his pasta. "You are something else, Lily," he said, shaking his head in amusement. "I can't remember the last time I laughed this much." As the night wore on, the conversation turned more personal. Lily opened up about her struggles and her dreams, and Alexander listened intently, his admiration for her growing with each word. He found himself drawn to her strength, her resilience, and her unwavering optimism. When the dessert arrived, Lily's eyes lit up at the sight of the decadent tiramisu. "This looks amazing," she said, eagerly digging in. But as she took her first bite, a dollop of cream landed on the tip of her nose. Alexander couldn't help but laugh. "You've got a little something right there," he said, gesturing to his own nose. Lily blushed and quickly wiped it away, laughing at her own clumsiness. "I swear, I can't take myself anywhere," she said, shaking her head. As the evening came to a close, Alexander and Lily found themselves reluctant to say goodbye. They lingered outside the restaurant, their conversation still flowing easily. "I had an amazing time tonight, Lily," Alexander said, his voice soft and sincere. "Thank you for being you." Lily smiled, her heart fluttering. "I had a great time too, Alexander," she replied. "Thank you for showing me that millionaires can be just as down-to-earth as the rest of us." With a gentle touch, Alexander took Lily's hand in his own. "Can I see you again?" he asked, his eyes filled with hope. Lily nodded, her smile widening. "I'd like that," she said. And so, their connection deepened, built on a foundation of laughter, shared stories, and a growing affection that neither of them could deny. As they walked hand in hand through the city streets, they knew that their journey together was just beginning, filled with the promise of love and endless possibilities. As Lily and Alexander spent more time together, their feelings for each other deepened. They found themselves falling into a comfortable rhythm, sharing laughter and dreams, and creating memories that would last a lifetime. However, their worlds were vastly different, and the challenges of their relationship began to surface. One sunny afternoon, Alexander surprised Lily with a picnic in Central Park. They spread out a blanket under a shady tree and enjoyed a feast of gourmet sandwiches, fresh fruit, and decadent pastries. As they sipped on sparkling grape juice, they watched the world go by, their conversation filled with warmth and laughter. But their peaceful moment was interrupted when a group of paparazzi suddenly appeared, cameras flashing. Lily, startled and unprepared, found herself in the spotlight, a place she had never wanted to be. Alexander quickly shielded her from the cameras, his protective instincts kicking in. "Let's get out of here," he said, his voice firm as he guided her away from the commotion. They hurried back to his car, the paparazzi hot on their heels. As they drove away, Lily couldn't help but feel overwhelmed. "Alexander, I don't know if I can handle this," she admitted, her voice trembling. "The constant scrutiny, the lack of privacy, it's all too much." Alexander reached over and took her hand, giving it a reassuring squeeze. "I know it's difficult, Lily," he said softly, "but I promise you, none of that matters to me. I care about you, and I want to be with you, no matter what anyone else thinks." Despite his reassurances, Lily struggled with the attention that came with dating a high-profile CEO. She found herself dodging reporters and avoiding public places, her once carefree life now filled with anxiety and stress. Meanwhile, Alexander faced criticism from his peers and business partners, who questioned his judgment in pursuing a relationship with someone from a different social class. At a high-stakes business meeting, one of his colleagues pulled him aside, his expression disapproving. "Alexander, are you sure about this girl?" he asked, his voice laced with concern. "She's not from our world. She could be after your money, you know." Alexander bristled at the insinuation. "Lily is not like that," he said firmly. "She's kind, honest, and hardworking. I trust her completely." But the doubts and whispers persisted, casting a shadow over their blossoming relationship. Lily began to feel the weight of the expectations and judgments, her spirit crushed under the scrutiny. One evening, as they strolled through the bustling streets of the city, Lily couldn't help but voice her fears. "Alexander, what if they're right?" she asked, her voice filled with uncertainty. "What if I'm not good enough for you? What if I'm just a liability to your career and reputation?" Alexander stopped in his tracks and turned to face her, his eyes filled with determination. "Lily, listen to me," he said, his voice steady and confident. "You are more than good enough. You are amazing, and I am lucky to have you in my life. I don't care what anyone else thinks or says. I know who you are, and that's all that matters to me." Touched by his words, Lily felt a surge of determination. She knew that their love was worth fighting for, and she was willing to face any challenge that came their way. However, their resolve was tested when Alexander's business rival, Victor Blackwood, saw an opportunity to exploit their relationship. He spread rumors about Lily, painting her as a gold digger out to take advantage of Alexander's wealth. The tabloids ran with the story, and soon, Lily's name was splashed across the headlines in the most unflattering light. "Local waitress sinks her claws into Millionaire CEO," one headline screamed. "Gold digger alert. Is Lily after Alexander Sterling's fortune?" another proclaimed. Lily was devastated by the false accusations. She retreated from the public eye, her spirit crushed under the weight of the lies and judgments. Alexander, furious at the injustice, vowed to clear her name and expose Victor's deceit. One day, as Lily sat alone in her apartment, her phone rang. It was Alexander, his voice filled with urgency. "Lily, I need you to trust me," he said. "I have a plan to set things right. Can you meet me at the Sterling Enterprises headquarters tomorrow morning?" Lily hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "I trust you, Alexander," she said. "I'll be there." As she hung up the phone, Lily took a deep breath, steeling herself for the battle ahead. She knew that their love was strong enough to overcome any obstacle, and she was ready to fight for it, no matter what it took. The next morning, Lily arrived at the Sterling Enterprises headquarters, her heart pounding with anticipation. She had no idea what Alexander had planned, but she trusted him completely. As she stepped into the bustling lobby, she was greeted by a sea of reporters, their cameras flashing and microphones at the ready. Alexander stood at the front of the room, his expression determined. As he spotted Lily, he smiled and beckoned her to join him. Together, they faced the crowd, their hands clasped tightly in a show of unity and strength. "Ladies and gentlemen," Alexander began, his voice steady and confident. "Thank you for being here today. I have called this press conference to address the rumors and lies that have been circulating about Lily and our relationship." He paused, his eyes scanning the room, before continuing. "Lily is not a gold digger. She is a kind, honest, and hardworking woman who has brought joy and laughter into my life. I am proud to be with her, and I will not stand by while she is slandered." Alexander then presented evidence of Victor's involvement in the smear campaign, exposing his rival's malicious intentions. The reporters listened intently, their pens scribbling furiously as they took notes. As the press conference ended, Alexander turned to Lily, his eyes filled with love and admiration. "I promised you that I would set things right, and I meant it," he said softly. "I love you, Lily, and I will do everything in my power to protect you and our relationship." Touched by his words, Lily felt a surge of love and gratitude. She knew that their journey would not be easy, but with Alexander by her side, she was ready to face whatever challenges came their way. Together, they stepped out of the building, hand in hand, their love stronger than ever. As they walked through the city streets, they knew that their future was filled with promise and endless possibilities, and they were ready to embrace it with open hearts and unwavering determination. In the days that followed the press conference, the tide of public opinion began to shift. The truth about Victor Blackwood's deceit spread like wildfire, and Lily's name was cleared. The public, captivated by the couple's love story, rallied behind them, their support unwavering. Lily found herself back in the spotlight, but this time, it was filled with warmth and admiration. She received letters and messages from people all over the city, sharing their own stories of love and resilience. Alexander, proud and relieved, stood by her side, their bond stronger than ever. One evening, as they strolled through Central Park, hand in hand, Alexander turned to Lily with a mischievous grin. "You know, I've been thinking," he said. "We've had quite the adventure so far, but I think it's time for something even more extraordinary." Lily raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "Oh, really?" she said, a playful smile tugging at her lips. "And what might that be?" Alexander stopped in his tracks and turned to face her, his eyes filled with love and excitement. "Lily," he began, his voice steady and sincere, "I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I want to laugh with you, dream with you, and face whatever challenges come our way, side by side." With that, he knelt down on one knee and pulled out a small velvet box from his pocket. He opened it to reveal a stunning diamond ring, its facets sparkling in the soft glow of the setting sun. Lily gasped, her hands flying to her mouth in surprise. "Alexander," she whispered, her eyes wide with disbelief and joy. "Lily," Alexander said, his voice filled with emotion, "will you marry me?" Tears of happiness welled up in Lily's eyes as she nodded enthusiastically. "Yes, Alexander," she said, her voice trembling with joy. 1,000 times yes." Alexander slipped the ring onto her finger, and as he stood up, he pulled her into a warm embrace. They kissed, their hearts filled with love and the promise of a future together. As they pulled away, Lily laughed, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "You know, this is all because I mistook your car for an Uber," she said, shaking her head in amusement. "I guess sometimes the best things in life happen by accident." Alexander chuckled, his heart swelling with happiness. "And I wouldn't have it any other way," he said, taking her hand in his. Together, they walked through the park, their laughter echoing through the air as they planned their future. They dreamed of the adventures they would have, the challenges they would face, and the love that would guide them through it all. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm golden glow over the city, Lily and Alexander knew that their love story was just beginning. They had weathered storms and overcome obstacles, and in the end, their love had triumphed. And so, the poor girl who got into the millionaire CEO's car thinking it was an Uber not only won his heart but also found her own happily ever after. Their journey was filled with laughter, love, and a bond that would last a lifetime, a testament to the power of love and the magic of chance encounters. As they walked hand in hand into the sunset, their hearts filled with joy and their future bright with promise, they knew that their love story was one for the ages, a tale of laughter, resilience, and the unbreakable bond between two souls destined to be together. That brings us to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, kindly subscribe to my channel for more interesting stories. Thanks for watching.